Red Edition, welcome. Happy day. Donald Trump recently was asked if he could quote any verses from the Bible. He thought just for a second and he came back with this. Hey, give a man a fish and he will eat it for a day. Deport him. And you don't ever have to feed him again. That would be Trump chapter 20, verse 17. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. Alberta, Canada. The Minister of Education there now, in my humble opinion, is very guilty of promoting propaganda in all of the schools in the entire province. And oh, commie people do that. I mean, Ontario's guilty of that as well, and many states are, and many municipalities and places. But Alberta's really kind of happening. They're on steroids. They're promoting this propaganda, and they're bringing all this bad stuff in. They're called brainwashing, don't you know? And it ain't very nice. All you citizens and you parents start paying attention. In my day, we took our kids to school. And we went and we worked, and we didn't have to think about it anymore because we knew that the system was designed in such a way that when the kids left school, they could add and they could subtract. And now when they come out of school, they don't even know what bathroom to go in anymore. Brainwash? No kidding. Maxime Bernier, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Maxime, I met him recently in Vancouver, a nice guy. And he's kind of got a kick now because some of his competitors have dropped out, and he wants to be the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada, and he wants to be the Prime Minister eventually, right? You know, after the last election in Canada, I went into, this is a little bit frightening, you know, and I went into a senior home, and it was full mostly of women because, of course, men die about 10 years before the women. We got to give them peace. And there was like 50 women in there, and the election had just ended. Their husbands had all fought in the war, a great war. And so they built our country, right? And they're 85 to 90 years old. And I went and I spoke to most of them. Who did you vote for? Almost to a person, they said Trudeau, our now prime mistake. And I said, why? He's got nice hair, he's handsome. And I said, wow, that's the criteria? And it truly was. And so now I look at Maxime Bernier and I say, okay, you know what, this is kind of good because women think you're handsome, you got pretty hair, and the kicker here is you're actually right-wing. I mean, he is. This is a good thing. People call him a libertarian, but what's a libertarian? I mean, a libertarian is kind of a right-wing person with, you know, wide-open views, I guess. I don't know what it is, but he certainly is right-wing. He believes in small government, big opportunities, smaller taxes, and so on. So he's my guy. His language thing is a bit of an issue with regard to English. He stumbles around with that a little bit, but he understands it. He's, you know, he's clear. You can get it. And he thinks in both languages, and he's from Quebec, and the Quebec kind of force he can bring along, I think. So he's our guy. He might be the guy to lead us out of the wilderness. Again in Vancouver when he and I met, it was kind of cool, and he wants to come on this show, and we're going to get him on this show sooner than later. The Liberal government now, under our prime mistake Trudeau, is not ruling out a military contribution in Syria. What does that mean? I mean, this is the same guy that's already said to the whole world, we're cowards, we won't help. I mean, a military contribution probably is taking over McDonald's hamburgers and distributing them out amongst the troops or something, because it certainly isn't doing the job. He's a coward. It's embarrassing. I will say this about the prime mistake, that this is a consequence of all this excess consumption that went on before we had a proper leader. You know, we sacrificed our future to indulge our past. The future is now the present. We're here. And now it's time to pay the piper, and that's what we're doing. So we need a new leader in Canada. Prime Minister Bernier has got a nice ring to it because, again, he's right-wing, and politically, right is right and left is wrong. Y'all come back, and we're going to have more for you from the right tomorrow. See ya.